One morning, James Clifford was at Carlowley station with the Red Highland. It was soon time to depart, and the remaining passengers boarded the coaches. Fred the porter was full of conversation, much to James Clifford's dismay.
"We're taking some old farm equipment to the new museum in Bristol this evening,"
he said.
"Why would a museum be interested in that?"
asked James Clifford.
"Because museums are where old things are preserved. Lots of people like to see machinery and artifacts from a bygone age and learn what they were once used for. History is very important, you know,"
he replied. Just at that, the guard blew his whistle. It was time to leave. James Clifford enjoyed the tranquility of the countryside. He felt very relaxed while venturing down the line. At Kilkenna station, he received a nasty shock. Sitting side by side were Cliff and Clive, the two motor cars who once played a trick on him long ago.
"The one thing that could spoil my day is the smug look on your faces," he grumbled.
Strangely, the two cars did not seem smug at all. They looked very sad.
"What's the matter? Run out of tricks to play?"
goaded James Clifford. Clive was the first to speak up.
"Since Lord Starkey's passing, we no longer have an owner. We've been put here on display as a tribute to him. After that, we no longer have a purpose,"
he confessed. James Clifford was surprised. Things were not looking good for the once troublesome duo.
"Don't worry about that. Baron Starkey is your owner now. He even inherited this railway,"
he said.
"Ha! The son doesn't want us. No room for us, he says. After we leave here, it will most likely be the scrap heap,"
he groaned. Despite their history, James Clifford felt pity for them. If only there was a way to help. King Arthur had no sympathy whatsoever.
"Good riddance, I say. Road transport is a threat to us engines. Scrap 'em all!"
James Clifford told the engines that night in the sheds. "Is James Clifford going soft in his old age?" teased Misty.
"I'm not old, and there is nothing wrong with feeling sorry for the less fortunate,"
he scolded. Peggy agreed. "Quite right, but unfortunately, there is nothing we can do," she sighed. "True, you could ask Baron Starkey to keep them, but he would probably tell you to mind your own business," teased Misty. Deep down, James Clifford knew that she was right. The next morning, he was collecting the passengers. From the corner of his eye, he spotted Fred. Suddenly, not all was lost. The possibility of a happy ending was no longer a fantasy.
"Fred, I want to talk to you,"
he called. The young porter was very busy, but willingly obliged.
"Is everything okay, James Clifford?"
he asked. Without taking a breath, he told him all about the two cars.
"Surely there is room for them in this new museum,"
he hoped. Fred thought for a moment.
"They would have to be donated by Baron Starkey himself. If he's free today, I shall ask him,"
he promised. The following morning, James Clifford arrived at the station. To his surprise, Cliff and Clive were in the car park, and they looked very pleased.
"We're here to say goodbye,"
said Cliff, This afternoon, our days on the road come to an end as we make our last journey. A journey to a museum where we will be on display for all to admire, gloated Clive. James Clifford was pleased.
Oh, thank goodness. If you go to the museum, it means I will never clap eyes on you again,
He teased.
The museum was always my plan,
Announced a voice. He looked over and saw Baron Starkey standing beside him.
Let's just say that my father's cars aren't the only things getting donated,
He hinted. Looking on, he saw Peggy pushing his coaches down the line.
What is going on?
He asked in confusion. Baron Starkey smiled.
Look behind you,
He said. James Clifford did so, and to his surprise, he clapped eyes on brand new coaches.
Now you really will be the Red Highland.
James Clifford loves his new coaches, and they match his paintwork. There is now an extra coach, along with a brake coach, which means he can now carry more passengers, and the guard can help stop the train if there's an emergency. The Red Highland is no longer a name. It's a reality.